Hey Sixes, so today we're going to be talking about equivalent ratios. So last week we learned about what a ratio is, and a ratio is just a comparison of two numbers with the same unit. So this unit would be food, right? So this ratio we would say 3 to 4 using the colon, 3 to 4, or in fraction 3 to 4. Okay? All right, so grab your notebook, make sure you're taking some good notes. Today we're going to determine equivalent ratios and use them to solve problems. This lesson is very, very important, and you need to make sure that you're taking your time, just pausing anytime you need help. Okay, so an equivalent ratio is just two or more ratios that represent the same comparison. So it's just one ratio being compared or equal to the same ratio. Okay, so let's start with this ratio. We call this ratio 3 to 1. Okay, so an important tip is that you can only use division or multiplication. No addition, no subtraction. The second one is you just have to remember that what you do to one ratio, you do to the other. Okay, so let's make an equivalent ratio. I'm going to go easy and I'm just going to multiply both by 2. So 3 times 2 is 6, so it makes 6 here. And then I do the same thing for this, so 1 times 2 is 2. So there we have an equivalent ratio. 3 to 1 is equal to 6 to 2. See how simple that is? You can just multiply by any number. The amount could be infinite. Okay, so we can multiply this by 100. It would be 300 to 100. Okay, so it's a little different when working with division though. Okay, so why don't you try, let's try 3 because 15 is a factor of 3. So 15 divided by 3 and 5 divided by 3. So we know this would work, but would this work? No, it wouldn't, right? So we know we can't just pick any number. So you have to choose a common factor between 15 and 5, and we can choose 5. So 15 divided by 5 is 3. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So this here is an equivalent ratio. Okay, so you're going to try one by yourself, and there are 3 different answers, and you're going to see which one works with 4 to 2 and which one is equal to 20 to 12. Okay, so pause the video and try to figure out what is the correct answer. Okay, so let's start with 4 to 2. So we know all these numbers are big, so I'm going to be multiplying. So 4 times 2 doesn't work, 4 times 3 might work, but 2 times 3 is 6, so we know it's not this one. 4 times 4 gets me 16, and 2 times 4 gets me 8. So if you got that right, put a check mark. An equivalent ratio is 16 to 8. Okay, so since this is 20, I know I'm going to have to divide because it's smaller. And clearly, 20 divided by 2 is 10, right? So 12 divided by 2 is 6. So I know that 10 to 6 is an equivalent ratio. Okay, so there's 2 parts of our lesson today. So the first part we're going to be doing is determining the missing number of an equivalent ratio. So here we found 2 numbers. We're just finding one missing number. Okay, so the first question, it's going to say 4 to 12 is equal to blank to 24. Okay, so we're going to figure out what this is. A very important rule is that the first 2 numbers are equal and the second 2 numbers are equal. They're kind of like pairs. Okay, so you just have to remember that. So an important tip is all you have to do is number 1, find the known ratios. So known ratios mean the 2 numbers that are there. So 4 to blank, so we know the first ratio doesn't work. 12 to 24, that is the known ratio. And then you ask, how do I get from 12 to 24 or 24 to 12? Okay, so again, 12 and 24 are my known ratios. And how do I get from 12 to 24? I multiply by 2. Okay, so what you do to one side, you do to the other. So 4 times 2, it equals 8. And that's how you find the missing number. Okay, so pause the video, go ahead and try this one by yourself. Okay, so 4 and 16 are my known ratios. How do I get from 4 to 16? Multiply both by 4. So 5 times 4 equals 20. Pretty simple, right? So this one's tricky. Try this one on your own. Okay, so my known ratios are 33 and 11. So I can divide 33 divided by what gets me 11? 3. And then do the same thing, 21 divided by 3, it equals 7. Okay? All right, great job, guys. So the last part of our lesson today is just putting this all this knowledge into a word problem. So Carlie Baskin makes ice cream for 1 cup of condensed milk to 3 cups of, sorry, it's supposed to be 4 cups of heavy whipping cream. Write the ratios equivalent to 1 to 4. Okay, so this is supposed to be 4. All right, because your homework is 3, that's why. Okay, so here we have this nice table. We're just going to fill in what these missing numbers are using equivalent ratios. The first question says, what is the ratio of milk to cream for 4 cups of milk? So we got to figure out how many cream I need. So go ahead and write your ratio. 1 to 4 equals 4 to blank. So look at your known ratios. It's going to be 1 to 4 is my known ratios. How do we get from 1 to 4? Multiply both by 4. And there we have 16. Okay, so pause the video. I want you to try number 2 by yourself. What is the ratio of milk to cream for 20 cups of cream? Okay. All right, so my known ratios are 20 and 4. And how do I get from 4 to 20? I multiply it by 5. So 1 times 5 equals 5. So your equivalent ratio should be 5 to 20. All right, and the last one, do this one on your own. Okay, so the known ratio is 4 and 28. So how do I get from 4 to 28? I multiply by 7. So 1 times 7 equals 7. All right, and the final question, it says, if Carlie Baskin has 12 cups of milk, how many cups of heavy cream will she need? If you look, 12 isn't on here, so you kind of have to just keep on going. So let's make our ratio. 1 to 4 is equal to, so we have our milk, 12 to blank. So find your known ratio and find the equivalent ratio. Okay, so my known ratio is 1 and 12. So I know how to get from 1 to 12. I multiply by 12. So 4 times 12 equals 48. And that's how you find equivalent ratios, guys. Okay, so remember when you're doing your work from this whole week, this is not going to be good. So do not just write your answers. You need to make sure you're writing out all your ratios and writing what you're multiplying or dividing by to get the equivalent ones, okay? So this is quality content. All right, so today's homework is going to look like this. You have 8 questions, the same ones we did in the video, and instead of milk and cream, you have lemon juice and sugar water. Okay, amazing job today, guys. Make sure you message me if you have any questions or need help. All right, bye, guys.